division foes go head-to-head as Kentucky looks to snap that long losing streak to Florida. The Gators, now the 25th ranked team in the country, look to keep the longest streak going. We welcome you to SEC Saturday Night, presented by Holiday Inn Express. It has been 31 consecutive games for Florida, the longest active streak over any opponent. It has been 11,620 days since Kentucky knocked off Florida. Swamp ready to go. They're all riled up here. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers. We'll hear from Cole Kublik in a moment. Okay, so they've been asking this question in the Bluegrass for a long time now. How can Kentucky end the streak?
Well, they were so close last year. This team is built to end this streak. They're chock full of veteran talent, and none more important than possibly the best running back in the entire SEC. Definitely the most underrated. Benny Snell needs a monster game for Kentucky tonight.
Kentucky won the toss. The Cats have elected to defer. Snell led the SEC in rushing last season. He has back-to-back 1,000 rush yard seasons in his career. First time ever that's been done in Kentucky history. Swamp was rollicking last week as Dan Mullen's era got off to a fantastic start. Step up in competition this week. Grant McInnes will get us started. Darius Lemons to return. Lemons will not bring it out. So Kentucky not only dealing with history, but also this loud crowd. And Cole Kublik, cramped quarters down there for the visitors.
Tom, it's not just the strength, it's not just the talent that the Florida Gators are going to put on the field. It's the swamp, and it's the student section. It's literally 5 feet from the visiting bench. One of the most difficult atmospheres I've visited as a player. They're calling your name out between every single series. You can hear everything these guys say. Without a doubt, the closest proximity between fans and players on the bench in the SEC. Kentucky's going to have to deal with it tonight.
Those are some rowdy reptiles, but I'm sure they'll only say nice things about you. Felipe Franks getting the start for Florida. Jordan Scarlett is his tailback. And Franks wants to throw on first down. He wants a deep ball down the sideline. Trying to find Van Jefferson. The transfer from Ole Miss, Derek Beatty's got great length. He had the coverage. Franks got off to a fantastic start last week. He's from the Panhandle, originally committed to LSU. His brother played college ball, and he's rooming with one of his wide receivers. 5 touchdown passes in the first half last week for Franks. And Franks is going to run it. Runs into a wall and is only able to pick up a couple. He's got a pretty good one next to him in Jordan Scarlett as we look at the Gator starters.
Yeah, Felipe called his own number there, a design quarterback run, but this offense is built to run and play action pass off the run. Jordan Scarlett didn't have a ton of run last week. They didn't need him. They had an emphasis on throwing the football and getting Felipe Franks comfortable, but against this 3-4 stout defense, they're going to need Jordan Scarlett heavy and a lot tonight.
Only 6 carries last week against Charleston Southern.
And just as I say that, they go empty back 5 wide.
On 3rd and 8. 4-man rush for the Cats over the middle. And that is caught for a first down by Josh Hammond. And a pickup of 10.
A great accurate throw by Felipe Franks on a big 3rd down to get this offense going early in the game. He's got Josh Hammond right over the middle. Jordan Griffin all over him there. And a great job with concentration on a double catch that they needed on 3rd down.
Florida had 7 players suspended last week. They returned 6 of those, including Kadarius Toney, who we'll see on the offensive side of the ball. Jordan Scarlett with the touch. They are still without C.C. Jefferson for another night tonight on the defensive side. Gain of 3. Here's how the Cats start out defensively.
I mentioned they're a 3-4 defense. They're going to have 3 big stout guys up front, and they're going to have 1 really talented buck linebacker. It's going to be all over the field. Josh Allen, he's a preseason first team all SEC, and a guy the NFL is drooling over.
Leading active sack leader in the SEC, and he's coming off of a 10-tackle performance against Central Michigan. Second down 7. Another 4-man rush. And they flushed Franks with 4. And Franks throwing on the run. May have snuck it in there. They say it's incomplete to Tyree Cleveland. Florida's offensive line catches a lot of flack, and for good reason. Franks was sacked 28 times last season. And there's some thought from Matt House, the defensive coordinator for Kentucky, that they can get to him without bringing an extra man.
Absolutely. This is one of the things that, as a young or inexperienced offensive line, sometimes it's not where the pressure's coming from, but where's that fourth rusher. So it might feel like a blitz, but it might really be Josh Allen lined up off the ball or on the right side or the left side. You're going to see him here at the top of your screen in a traditional defensive end position. And you see Jordan Scarlett to that side as well. They might be chipping him on a 3rd and long here in a passing situation.
It's Martez Ivey who left tackle. Play clock almost ran out on Franks. And it goes to the slant, and that's good for another first down. Tyree Cleveland on a gain of 11. Mike Edwards, the safety for the stop for the Cats.
Great job. Slot receiver here just runs a go route to clear it out. It's a short dig, not really a slant. It's a short dig on the outside by Tyree Cleveland. 2 really good completions on 3rd downs, and Florida's been bad.
Gators converted the first 2 3rd downs tonight. They were only 2 of 9 on 3rd down last week. This is Jordan Scarlett changing direction. Crawls forward. Big miss up front for Kentucky, Cole, with Quinton Bohanna leaving the game.
Tom, stops on runs in the middle like that are going to be key. Quinton Bohanna out. Spoke to defensive coordinator Matt House before the game. He told me he's going to play 2 nose guards in this game. Tyree Dubose and Quinton Bohanna were the 2. You may see a shift from a defensive tackle. Either Phil Hoskins or Adrian Middleton may have to slide down to the nose some in this game. If Bohanna can't come back, that's a big loss for the Wildcats.
And it might be a big advantage for Jordan Scarlett and this Florida running game. Franks checks to the sideline, trying to get Dan Mullen's attention. And he'll check to his receivers on the left. 2nd and 7. Check to a run. Scarlett bounces out of trouble. Can't escape all of it, though. Josh Allen got his hands there after Cash Daniel turned him around, and it's a loss of 2.
Great pressure right up the middle here. Just blows up that run before it can even get started. Cash Daniel came right through the backside A-gap. That run was trying to go front side. Backside guard didn't come off in time, and the linebacker Daniel was able to split the gap and make a great play in the backfield. 3rd and long here.
Gators have converted the first 2 3rd downs.
Kentucky playing zone coverage right now. 2 safeties.
Pressure again from Daniel. And incomplete. Felipe Franks having to pick himself up, and he is slow to do so.
And that's the 2nd time Felipe has come up. Like he got a little banged up on this one. You're going to see pressure on the left side coming from this direction. And he can't get his feet set. Cash Daniels up that side.
Tommy Townsend punted away. He'll take his time. David Bouvier will not have a chance to return. Gators trying to down it inside the 5. Inside the 10 will do. Tyree Cleveland, the first man down there. 26-yard punt down to inside the 10. It'll be a long field for this Kentucky offense to work with. Terry Wilson from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, by way of junior college, redshirted at Oregon. Last season, Garden City Community College out in Kansas, and he makes his first SEC start tonight.
Extremely talented, a dual threat guy. Got his feet wet at this level last week, made a few mistakes. Florida's really got to keep an eye on his mobility. Got to keep him in the pocket.
Kentucky turned it over 4 times in the first half last week. Benny Snell gets his first touch and will create some breathing room. But this crowd is something Terry Wilson has never played in front of.
No. I played in community college. You might have a few hundred people in the stands, let alone, what, 80, 90, 100 grand, however many are in the stands right here. This is a new environment for Terry Wilson. Let's see how he responds to this adversity.
He's got a great tight end to lean on C.J. Conrad. He's supposed to be a key part of the game plan tonight. Here's Snell again. And a couple of yards for Snell. Voshon Joseph with the tackle. How can C.J. Conrad help out Wilson?
Well, he's going to help out in a few ways. He is huge in the run game. You're going to see him off the line of scrimmage, blocking backside, lead blocking for Benny Snell. He's all over the field in the run game.
3rd and 2. Wilson replaced by Trey Dean at corner. Terry Wilson trying to take off for the first down, and he picks it up before Voshon Joseph brings him down. A 6-yard scramble. Here's a look at the Florida starters, and there's a ton of confidence coming from the back end of this Florida unit, including Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who had a pair of sacks last week.
And how about that? Little trash talking during the week. Don't mind it, love it as long as you back it up, but he makes this defense go. He's as versatile as anybody on the field.
Preseason first-team All-SEC. A bullet mishandled by Lynn Bowden Jr. And it will leave 2nd and 10.
Jordan, I talked to Kentucky offensive coordinator Eddie Graham before the game. I asked him, what does Todd Grantham give you? What are the easy shots that you can take away and force him into something else? He kind of rolled his eyes and he said, we're going to get so much man tonight. They don't give you much of anything. He said, we might have to move the pocket, think about being creative with our quarterback, but man coverage, they're expecting to be an issue.
And that's why Lynn Bowden right there you saw is so valuable, because in the slot, he's going to get a little extra space from that man coverage to work.
4 to the right side for Kentucky. And Wilson fires into the slot. Bowden just shy of the marker. A gain of 9. Gardner-Johnson to stop.
And like I just said, when you play man coverage, all those corners and DBs got to play on different levels. So on the outside, they're usually pressed. And as the receivers work inside to a slot receiver or a tight end, those DBs usually have to play a little further off. So Lynn Bowden is going to get a lot more looks tonight if Florida keeps playing man.
3rd down 1. Benny Snell. Wilson split out to the left. And in motion was Wilson. Snell will take it. He's got the first down, and he's rumbling for plenty more. Benny Snell Jr. is one of the best in the country at picking up yards after contact. He is a load to try and bring down.
That's the misdirection in the backfield here as you see Terry Wilson coming. That widens out those 2 defenders and leaves that crease for Benny Snell to pick up that first down.
Miscommunication in the secondary for Florida. Wilson has to scramble, and he's got plenty of room down the sideline. Terry Wilson finally forced out of bounds by Donovan Steiner. It's a quarterback dash. It covers 31 yards.
This is one thing Todd Grantham was worried about. You got Ja'Kai Polite coming off the edge and Jeremiah Moon coming off the edge. You got to rush to certain levels. You can't pass the level of the quarterback. Watch this. Number 99 gets too far upfield and leaves a rushing lane for a very athletic, very dangerous Terry Wilson.
Todd Grantham teaches his guys get 5 yards deep, then making an adjustment. That time he went 9.
Yeah, you can't run past the quarterback. You leave those big rushing lanes.
Wilson design quarterback run. Another stop for Voshon Joseph, a gain of 4. Mark Stoops has done a fantastic job of rebuilding this Kentucky program. They have met or exceeded their win total from the year prior each of the 5 years he's been there. Another bowl last year as they played in the Music City Bowl. But this game, this series has been a hurdle no Kentucky coach has gotten over since 1986. Wilson leaves the pocket, throws off his back foot, end zone, touchdown Kentucky. David Bouvier, a 29-yard touchdown reception.
Wilson's pass complete to number 33,
That will quiet the crowd in a hurry. And when you have an athletic quarterback and they get outside the pocket, it's scramble drill. A great job by David Bouvier. He's got an out route, sees Terry Wilson scrambling, works upfield. And it's that second reaction play that is so dangerous with a mobile quarterback. That's something that they rep and work on in practice. Paid off there.
David Bouvier had 1 career reception coming into the season. In the first 2 games of this year, the former walk-on at Lexington Catholic has a pair of touchdowns. Wilson improvises, and Bouvier cashes it in. It's Kentucky up front early. Yeah, Bouvier had the touchdown right before the half last week against Central Michigan. That came from Hope. Lemons decides to bring it out 4 yards deep, and he gets submarine shy of the 20. It has been a while, and it is turning into a historical streak. Notre Dame beat Navy 43 consecutive years starting in 1964 until Navy snapped it in 06. Nebraska, with so many great teams, Bob Devaney, Tom Osborne and company, absolutely dominated Kansas. That streak ended in 04. And Oklahoma, behind Bud Wilkinson, all the stars they had in Norman, did not have an issue with Kansas State from 1937 to 1968. And now there's this. The longest active win streak in an uninterrupted series over a major opponent. 31 consecutive games. They have come in all form and fashion, some imaginable, some unimaginable. Room on the right side for Michael Piron.
Tom, you mentioned that play last year. Luke Del Rio looking for Freddie Swain, uncovered, no Kentucky defender on him. I spoke to the former Gators quarterback this week. He said the thing that people don't know, Freddie Swain and I had shoulder surgery together, so we went through all of our rehabilitation together. We had a little bit of a different relationship. He said he actually could not see that he was uncovered. It was a run play. He didn't check, but because of the nonverbal communication between he and Swain, he decided to take the snap, turn, throw, ends up as a Gators touchdown.
Kentucky changed their substitution patterns after that. They were trying to run a unit on and another one off. Little option look for Franks. Tries to cut it back. He'll take a big hit from Josh Allen. And that'll leave 3rd down. Offensive line trying to pick him up. That's Martez Ivy. I talked with Felipe last week about his offensive line play. He goes, you know what, we pick each other up. Sometimes I need to be the one that gets them going in a lackluster summer practice. Sometimes they need to get me going, but it's a very good relationship at this point, which you could understand if it wasn't after all the times he got hit last year.
But one thing that Felipe's learning to do is be vocal and take the reins of the leadership on this team. That's come with the confidence that he has under Dan Mullen now.
Remember, he got pulled from this game last year. Frank stands tall in the pocket. Wide open! And a big gain for the Gators, and Jordan Scarlett out of the backfield. 31 yards. That'll pick your spirits up. Oh, look at that. Hey, there's some history. Speaking of Heisman Trophy winners, the head ball coach is in town tonight. We'll visit with him as they honor one of his SEC championship teams. And Mullen said, yeah, he still pops in the office every Monday, goes, hey, why don't you throw this post route? Guy's open, go deep. Minute to go in the first quarter. Van Jefferson escapes one, gets a block on the edge, and he's got a Florida first down on a gain of 12.
Great job. Get your playmakers the ball. Van Jefferson, you saw Felipe look to the sideline. They saw they had numbers. Flip it out there one-on-one with your playmaker. He's been a special addition to this Florida offense.
He's the lead blocker. They're going to step back and try a pop pass. Now Franks reverses field, trying to use his speed inside the 10. And he's finally forced out of bounds. We'll see where the mark is. A 9-yard scramble for Franks. They'll say 1st and goal. Call it an 11-yard gain, Cole.
Jordan, I know you went back to that seam route, said it wasn't the best decision by Felipe Franks. However, what sticks out to me watching him on film is his decision-making and how much it's improved from a year ago. Last year, I think maybe he tries to force that football in, knew it wasn't there, turns it into a big play.
So the first quarter comes to an end. Kentucky trying to shed the demons and end a losing streak that dates to 1987. Terry Wilson, the junior college transfer, playing in his first ever Kentucky-Florida game. And David Bouvier has the Cats out in front. So Kentucky strikes first, and now Florida trying to answer as we start the second quarter in the Swamp. Sophomore Felipe Franks at quarterback. Second and 1, and he wants to throw. They get their hands on him and take him down. Phil Hoskins with the sack of Felipe Franks. It's a loss of 9.
It's that slide protection again, Tom, that Jordan mentioned a little bit earlier, and Fred Johnson again at right guard, sliding a little bit too far over, opening up a big gap, and thus the Kentucky pressure.
Well, and Cole, again, he comes off a guy when he shouldn't. He comes off of the guy that ends up tackling his quarterback. Don't slide past pressure, right? You're on a guy, stay there.
And Kentucky without their starting notes, Quentin Bohanna, left ankle injury. He's questionable to return to this game. Now 3rd and 10 after Florida thought they had the first down run and the Frank scramble a couple plays ago. 4-man rush. Franks incomplete. Scarlett may have heard footsteps. Jordan Jones and Mike Edwards were there to greet him.
Pressure off the right side of the line of scrimmage as well. Josh Allen working on Jawan Taylor, and even with a catch there, probably still a field goal.
They have a fantastic field goal kicker. Eddie Pinedo, the best kicker in the country last year, left early to go to the NFL. So freshman Evan McPherson is now the man. 29-yard attempt for McPherson. He was 2 for 2 against Charleston Southern last Saturday night. Tommy Townsend the holder. And McPherson keeps the streak going. 20th consecutive field goal made by this Florida team. Lynn Bowden back to receive. And he won't even bother fielding. Welcome back to the Swamp, also known as Steve Spurrier Field now. Kentucky with a lead 7-3 over Florida. And you'll never guess who wandered into the booth. Chance to honor his 1993 SEC championship team. Head ball coach joins us. Thanks for stopping by.
Tom and Jordan, good to be with you guys. Yeah, it was neat to be down there with that 93 team. It was only 25 years ago, but as coaches, we tell them if you win a championship, it's going to be forever, and this was our chance to celebrate this weekend.
That was one of the great teams in Florida history that kicked off an amazing run, and you had a chance to honor your guys moments ago, and one of the guys you called out was Terry Dean, who was your quarterback for part of that season. Why was it so important to get him acknowledged in front of this crowd?
Well, he was super those last 2 games against Alabama. He was 20 of 37, threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 1, and our man Chris Doring threw him a 15-yard pass.
Doring threw him the pass.
The Eagles worked the first
You drew that one up, right?
No, it's the same thing. Run it over there and throw it back to the quarterback. So Doring, he threw that several times here.
Doring loves hearing his name mentioned, by the way. Yeah. 2nd and 5, and Wilson will flick it out to Benny Snell, and he's able to take it out to the 35-yard line. How important was that team in establishing what you guys eventually accomplished here?
Well, Tom, we won it in 90 and 91. We lost the championship game in 92, so we're sort of always knocking on the door. And to beat Alabama in Birmingham, the first 2 years they had it there, I guess they thought Bama needed a little edge or something. But they had it there, and then they finally moved it to Atlanta. So our guys just really played well both those games.
On 3rd and 1, Wilson takes it forward.
Obviously, Florida making some moves, wanting to bring a championship back here. You've been around Dan Mullen. You've been around this program. You've seen championship teams. What about Dan Mullen say, oh, yeah, I got some confidence he can do it?
Well, certainly he's got a great opportunity. Those teams that are up there fighting for championships, they better be in the top 5 in the nation in recruiting. You look at Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and all them guys. So that's where we got to. I mean, we got good players now, don't get me wrong, but we got to recruit, and then we'll be right there with the best.
1st and 10 now for Terry Wilson and this Kentucky team. Of course, Kentucky fans well aware of the long losing streak to Florida. It's been since 1986. And, Coach, it's happened in every way imaginable and unimaginable. You mentioned Doring. Of course, he had the game winner one time at the buzzer. What is it about this series?
Well, I don't know. They had a great chance to beat us there in 93 when Danny hit Doring with 8 seconds left. So we escaped that one. We played them here in the Swamp in 91, and we're up 28-7. And the next thing I knew, it was 28-26. And fortunately, we put a drive to run the clock out and score a touchdown. But Kentucky sort of, it's hard to figure how they lost some of them.
Yeah.
It's just, they're snake bit when they play us. I guess that's the only way to say it.
Well, they've had great players. They've had good coaching. They've had outstanding players in their time, but it just seems that Florida always has that number. Is there something to the attitude of Florida, whether it's Kentucky or others, that these are just games they expect to win?
I don't know about that. We never talked about it. Of course, that was a long time ago when I was here. But you just try to get prepared to play one at a time the best you can, and really don't talk about streaks and things like that.
Cats have converted all 3 of their third down opportunities. Now 3rd and 4. Pressure coming. And it's C.J. Conrad, the tight end, with another grab.
Coach, I saw you down there with your 93 team. You look like you still got some gas in the tank, and you're going to be coaching again. Alliance of American Football in Orlando starting up the feeder league for the NFL. Tell me about that.
I'll tell you what, Jordan, I'm really looking forward to it. This is my kind of coaching. This is 4 months a year. We'll practice the month of January and play February, March, April. We got like 10 games, hopefully 2 playoff games. And they allocate to players, so there's no recruiting. We're not going to be calling guys all over the country. We'll get a team and go try to beat the other guys. And, you know, if you love competing and so forth, this is perfect for us.
How important is that to give a big population of guys another chance to get film and possibly continue their dream?
It could be called the Opportunity League.
Ooh. He's swinging with a big chance for a return. And he's finally forced out of bounds. It's a 25-yard return.
Yeah, as we all know, there's not enough room in the NFL for all the really good college players that come out. So this will give these guys an opportunity to do their thing, and hopefully after they play in the Alliance League, they'll go to the NFL. That's what we hope happens.
Hey, let's take you back to 1993. You mentioned it. Danny Werfel able to find Chris Doering with 2 seconds left. They're in cover 3 at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they were in a cover 2.
Oh,
he was wide open. Yeah, I don't know. Some teams like playing cover 2 at the end, Jordan. I don't know why.
You just send a guy right down the middle.
Yep, one down the middle, one down the sideline, and Danny spotted Doering, and that was the start of the 4 in a row that we won. If we don't win that one, we don't win the one in 93.
And there were some games you guys won where you didn't play great football. You just ended up pulling out. If I'm not mistaken, you had 7 picks in that game.
Well, we may have that game, but that 93 team scored more points than any SEC team. We broke a bunch of offensive records, and then they were broken later, though, so they didn't hold them a long time.
So after the punt, Florida will be back out on offense. Here's a look at some of the numbers that you guys put up. All of those were SEC records at the time. Points scored, passing yards, passing touchdowns. And you had a really good running back. You called Eric Rett moments ago perhaps the best running back ever to play here. There's been some really good ones.
Yeah, Eric got a chance to start all 4 years. So he got a lot of carries, and he caught more passes. He could do it all. And we got the lead. He was the guy that gave him the ball, run the clock out, and he was really a good back. One of the great backs I've ever been around.
He put up some big numbers. He caught a lot of passes. Franks, speaking of a running back catching passes, swings it out to Malik Davis. What kind of offense are you going to run in Orlando?
Well, I tell you what, I've been watching some of Florida's offense. I watch their game tapes and everything. So there's some new tricks going around. So we'll be a little bit of a spread, but we're going to have the quarterback under center too.
Love that.
I'll tell you what was interesting. 3 of my fullbacks from 93 all came to the reunion. Kelvin Randolph, Jerome Evans, and Chris Bilkey. They were all at the reunion and so forth. And I told those guys, I said, we're going to have a fullback on our team again.
How about that? Yeah. We got a flag on the play after a tackle in the backfield by Tymier DeBose. We saw a lot of those guys at the hotel last night. I tell you what I appreciated was just the camaraderie. They were so happy to see each other and spend some time around each other.
And a lot of the guys hadn't been back in 20 years or so, they said. So it was really good for them.
15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Good call. Got him right on the face mask. Helped him bring down Malik Davis. That'll put Florida into Kentucky territory now. What did you enjoy the most about being around those guys this weekend?
Just seeing them for the first time in a long time. Seeing their kids. Terry Dean, he's got 2 children here at the University of Florida. And it's good to see Terry back with all his kids, wives, and so forth. And most all the players brought their families with them. So that was probably the most neat part. And then we rehashed a bunch of games and so forth. But it was a team with a lot of spirit. They all loved each other. And shoot, every championship team's like that. So.
Franks finds Kadarius Toney. That's good for a first down. And a gain of 15 that time. Dan Mullen said that you guys have a great relationship. You're not afraid to pop in there on a Monday and say, hey, why aren't we throwing the deep ball more?
Yeah, we exchanged a few ideas. I told him I really liked one pattern they ran last week. I said,
Which one was that?
I'm going to use that myself.
The double post?
Well, it was a post against a 4 deep with 2 guys clearing out on one side.
Kadarius Toney takes a direct snap and will carry it 9 yards. Last week against Charleston Southern, Dan Mullen kind of restored the roar here at the Swamp. They even brought out the jump pass. What's it like just when you see a guy who was part of the program and he's reaching back to re-engage his fan base?
Yeah, that was a good start. Everybody, was very happy. Oh, there's one there. There you go.
And it's wide open for the score. 18-yard pass from Felipe Franks. And Florida's got its first lead of the game. Earl Stevens with the reception.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the RPO stuff.
Yeah.
Billy Gonzalez and Dan do there. So I've been learning some new tricks.
How new is that? The RPO. Did you do it back in the day, or a version of it?
Oh, late at South Carolina and 14 or so, there was a little bit going on, but probably really 16, 17, 18, 15, 16, 17, 18. Those years it started.
Florida hasn't lost to Kentucky since 1986, one of the rare years that you weren't coaching. You're in between jobs.
That wasn't all fear. That was an off year. That's when I was looking for work. Fortunately, an opening came at Duke University, where I was as an assistant coach. So that was an opportunity that kept my coaching career alive. Duke University.
And the rest is history. Honoring your 93 team here tonight. They didn't lose to Kentucky. Now Florida to lead. Steve Spurrier, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jordan.
Head ball coach, not the old ball coach.
That's right, head ball coach.
Head ball coach is in the house here at the Swamp, where they almost never lose. In Florida, out front of Kentucky, thanks to good quarterback play from Felipe Franks. It's 10-7 Gators. Kentucky get the ball back in a moment. In his address to the crowd with the 93 SEC championship team on the field, he thanked them for making this such a great home field advantage, and some times where maybe it was missing over the last few years due to the inconsistency, but a great crowd on hand here tonight. The field that was renamed in Steve Spurrier's honor. Then Bowden back to receive, and he'll have a chance with this one from the 13. Bowden's got elite speed. And he crosses the 40, but multiple flags come down behind him back near the 30-yard line. Measured the distance to the moon. And we got a chain link keeping track of 10 yards. They'll move that chain, and maybe they will just lay it down. Here's Benny Snell into Florida territory. Finally tracked down by C.J. Henderson. A 44-yard romp for the SEC's leading rusher a year ago.
What a great start to a pseudo 2-minute drill with just 3 left. And Cole, you mentioned it, Drake Jackson, the center, with an unbelievable back block right there that opened it up for Benny Snell. And he's I said it, probably one of the most talented, if not the most talented back in the SEC. Doesn't get the credit I think he deserves playing at Kentucky.
71 yards for Benny Snell thus far tonight. He has half of their 147, roughly. Snell again. Benny Snell did not have a great game against Florida last year. They were able to hold him in check. 14 carries, 59 yards, and he didn't have a touchdown. But heartbreak at the end of that game for everybody in a Kentucky uniform. And Snell put it simply, we were the better team. It was a 1-point loss for Kentucky. Snell's put up all these great numbers in his career. And remember, he didn't get off the bench the first 2 games of his freshman season. Second down 5. Snell through an arm tackle. and then into the pile. And that will leave third and about 2.
Florida a little confused there with the unbalanced formation. Just a right tackle and nobody else on the right side of the formation that time for Kentucky. Florida struggling adjusting right now to these formations that Kentucky's bringing.
Cats have been great on 3rd down tonight. Snell hit behind the line, sheds a guy, and he rumbles for another Kentucky first down.
And one of the reasons I say he may be one of the most talented, if not the most talented back in the SEC, that play was blown up, Tom. There was nowhere to go, no hole, no anything. Slayton blew that up in the middle for Florida, and Snell just made a play.
Drake Jackson surveys the front for Florida. He will look between his legs for the leg kick from Terry Wilson. Wilson taking a shot. Underthrown and intercepted by C.J. Henderson. Gators with takeaways to snuff each of the last 2 Kentucky drives.
Sung the praises of C.J. Henderson earlier with a great play, and this is a little miscommunication here. A bad ball. Let's be honest, a really bad ball from Terry Wilson. You'd love it if Taven Richardson flattened that off just a little bit more to protect his quarterback so C.J. Henderson couldn't undercut that, but no excuses there.
Gators will take a knee to get out of the half, and you got to wonder, will Kentucky make a change at quarterback again? Gunnar Hoke played the last series of the first half last week after Wilson struggled. Coming up at the half, you can watch a live performance of the Pride of the Sunshine. It's over on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app.
Kind of surprised Kentucky doesn't use that last time out here. Not a ton of space to take a knee. I'd make him do it again.
Instead, the clock will roll out. Kentucky only has 1 timeout remaining. Remember, they had to burn one with some miscommunication early in the second quarter. Cats will receive the second half kickoff, and I think it's a fair question to ask, and maybe Dick Gabriel's asking it right now, who's going to be a quarterback for Kentucky in the second half after Terry Wilson commits 2 more turnovers, both with Kentucky driving. Let's get you down the field. Cole standing by with Dan Mullen.
Coach Mullen, how do you anticipate addressing protection at halftime?
Protections?
Yes, sir.
They look okay for me.
What have your thoughts been on Felipe Franks' performance in the
He's done
first
a really
half?
good job managing the game, making the throws that he needs to get to. I think he's done a really good job.
How much do the timely turnovers mean for your defense in the first half?
I mean, that's making plays right there for us. That's a big part for us, making the plays and make a big play right there. CJ's the leader of our team. We expect him. His number's called. He made the big play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Only 1 sack for Kentucky in the first half, but they bothered and frustrated Felipe Franks. Our score at the half: Gators 10, Wildcats 7. Let's take you back to the studio with Dari, Chiz, and Doring. Felipe Franks was frustrated early with his own line play, finally put it together. He's got Florida out in front of Kentucky, and the Cats quarterback Terry Wilson has been dynamic, but he's also put the ball on the ground. He fumbled it once and he threw a pick, and that's cost Kentucky opportunity. There's a new establishment in Lexington called KS Bar. On their menu is shrimp and grits. The description is a Southern tradition, just like losing to Florida. It almost seems preordained, especially when you take into account the Kentucky drive-killing turnovers. See if they can reverse the trend that dates to 1987. And on the return, it's Lynn Bowden Jr. He's taken down shy of the 20, and there's a flag on the play. It's Cole.
Tom spoke with Kentucky head football coach Mark Stoops coming out of the huddle, and he said, I like the way my football team's playing. We're the more physical football team, have to cut out mistakes. Penalties, turnovers have killed us. If we eliminate those, we feel good about our chances winning this game. Said it's not going to be easy, but I like the way my club's playing.
2 turnovers and 55 yards worth of penalties for Mark Stoops' team. Hard to win against a ranked team, especially on the road here in this environment. Terry Wilson stays at QB. Quad to the left, and he hands it off to Benny Snell Jr. Has to fight for two.
Crucial drive here for Kentucky. Not only do you need to respond to adversity that you faced at the end of the first half, but you got to switch field positions. You're backed up on your own 12, 13-yard line. You at least got to get 1 or 2 first downs here to flip field position.
It'll be a gain of 4 after all. 2nd and 6 officially. High snap. And a bad pitch. Florida able to fall on it. The question is whether or not it was a forward pass, and they will say incomplete. Kylan Johnson recovered it.
The ball was pitched forward. It is an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Wow.
Kentucky catches a break, but that's another major mistake by Terry Wilson.
Yeah, and they love this play. It starts with a high snap from the center and then another high toss from Terry Wilson. And it was forward, and they are lucky.
Benny Snell probably took his eyes off it. Kentucky's converted 5 of 6 on 3rd down. Pressure coming. He will retreat. Now Wilson trying to ad-lib. He's got a first down, and he gets smoked from behind as he takes it past the 30. A 19-yard run. And so, as you said before, you take the good, you take the bad. Kentucky would be in this game in a better situation without the 2 turnovers, but then Wilson can do this for you.
Yeah, Marlon Dunlap, 91 there, driving straight up the gut and breaking the pocket. And it's just speed. I mean, he is just an unbelievable athlete to get outside the pocket and turn the corner right here.
He is averaging more than 10 yards a carry.
Like I said, you don't want the turnovers, but that's a negative play if he's not in the game.
Snell moves the pile, and he picks up 5 on 1st down.
Last big movement from Drake Jackson, center and right guard, combination block, just inside zone, and that's where they want to lean on this football team. Jordan mentioned it, statement drive right here for the Kentucky Wildcats. Mark Stoops saying we were the more physical football team in the first half. Cats proving it on that play.
And Cole, they've really controlled the line of scrimmage. Yes, we've seen on pass plays some gaps and Florida get in the backfield, but at the line of scrimmage on run plays, Kentucky has been solid against this front 4 for Florida.
Here's Snell. Picks up 3.
I'm going to tell you guys, that feeling right there, back-to-back inside zone plays, you know you're leaning on guys. And I tell you the one thing that I really loved as a former offensive lineman. When you see those defensive tackles tiptoeing up to the line of scrimmage and not getting down in their stance until they absolutely have to and just creeping down and barely putting that finger in the date, that's when you know guys don't really want to be there. That's the best feeling there is as an offensive lineman pre-snap.
Wilson will vacate Snell to take the direct snap. And he punches his way through and nearly broke out of there. 7-yard stumble for Benny Snell, and some words for T.J. Slayton afterwards.
But keep an eye on these high snaps. We were singing the praises of Drake Jackson early in the game. We saw a high snap on the almost fumble on the pitch to Benny Snell, and a high snap there. That can completely throw off the timing, especially in Wildcat. That needs to hit quickly. That snap is an important aspect of that.
High snap helped lead to a near fumble from Wilson on the pitch to Snell a little bit earlier. Fresh set of downs out of the pistol. Snell to the outside, and he ducks his way through for another first down. 18-yard run for Benny Snell Jr. He's over 100 yards on the evening.
When we spoke to defensive coordinator Todd Grantham, he said this is what we want. We want Benny Snell to bounce. But you only want to do it if you can make tackles on the outside. And C.J. Henderson overran that. Otherwise, it would have been a good stop for Florida. Instead, it's a big gain for Kentucky.
Kentucky's been great when Benny has. He's at 121 now, averaging 9.3 yards a carry. And Snell again. Pardon me, A.J. Rose again. In Kentucky's offensive execution over the last 2 years with Steven Johnson at quarterback, they were a great play-action team, and Steven Johnson had an affinity for hitting the deep ball. How much of that was predicated on Benny Snell's effectiveness?
Oh, it's huge. And anytime you get a defense or force a defense to put 7 or 8 guys in the box, that extra guy is coming from somewhere, and usually it's on the back end, which means you're going to face more single high, more man coverage on the outside, which is great for play action. Might be a spot to do it here if you're Kentucky.
Trips to the left. Snell hit behind the line, spins away, and it's a first down carry. Rayshad Jackson, the first man, couldn't get his hands on A.J. Rose. Gain of 9 for Rose, sophomore from Cleveland.
And that was just an RPO there. They had Lynn Bowden in the slot. Terry Wilson's going to reach the ball out, see if anybody reacts. If no one does, he hands it off. And boy, there hasn't been a ton of really good-looking blocking outside of a few early drives for Kentucky. They've been solid, but man, these running backs, both Snell and Rose, are making plays happen after contact.
10th play of the drive. They've been heavy on the run. 8 runs, just 1 pass for the first 9. And on the flip fake, Terry Wilson's going to take it to the edge and in. Kentucky back in front on a 24-yard run by Terry Wilson.
Kentucky Wildcats touchdown run.
That right there makes Eddie Gran, the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, really happy. That's a great play design. It's off that same pitch that we saw earlier, nearly the turnover. Instead, they bring a lead blocker and go right through the C gap. That's a designed run. Set up off that play earlier in the drive where there was almost a turnover. That's great. That's a great job by Eddie Gran there, the offensive coordinator.
Miles Butler on for the point after. And he pulled it, but just snuck it in. Benny Snell has 121 yards, and now quarterback Terry Wilson is over the century mark. 9 carries, 107, and 1 touchdown to put Kentucky back in front of Florida as they look to end the skid. The 25, Florida trails Kentucky 14-10. Second lead of the game for the Cats. Darius Lemons to receive for Kentucky. Decides to bring it out. He gets a key block. And then a flag, and Lemons takes it past the 30. Franks throws on the run, incomplete. Through the hands of Jordan Scarlett.
Try to go double move there. I'm really surprised we haven't seen more easy layup throws for Felipe Franks. One thing Dan Mullen emphasized week 1, gave him opportunities. He didn't pull the trigger. I figured we'd see a lot of hitches, curls, flats, a lot of easy throws and progressions for Felipe. Haven't seen a ton. They're trying to take shots on first down.
O-line holds up. Franks dumps it to Scarlett. It's taken down by Mike Edwards.
Great coverage there. Smart move by Felipe to dump it down, get something, make it a manageable third down. And what is it, 3rd and 6 now?
Yep.
Check down goes from 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 6.
Dan Mullen has pounded it into Felipe Franks' head. You can't go broke taking a profit.
That's true. Positive yards, however you can get it. I know you want to take the shots downfield, but manageable down and distances are crucial in close games.
Will Kentucky bring pressure? Here comes Mike Edwards from the edge. Gets into Franks, knocks him down. The pass is completed. Trayvon Grimes, the Ohio State transfer. What a job by Franks facing the pressure again.
Little zone blitz there. Josh Allen drops back. You mentioned it. Mike Edwards, the safety, comes in, gets Franks low, but a nice completion, Jordan.
Fire blitz. Off the outside, don't see the hit there. We're looking at the catch. He does it, he secures it, but it was even more impressive. Felipe Franks took a big hit in the gut right as he released that ball. It's why it ended up a little low.
Batted away. Florida thought they jumped. TJ Carter able to get his mitts on it.
Maybe trying to take advantage of Marquand McCall and a nose guard, the true freshman, getting some playing time. 6'3", 368. Matt House telling me before the game, don't want to play him, might have to play him. We have a lot of confidence in him, just not sure if he's ready.
He's a big boy, 50 down there.
Not sure the training table's ready for him when he rolls in either.
Second and 15 after the incompletion and the false start on the play before. Allen creeping up from the edge. Blake blocks at 1. Here comes Allen. Franks rolls the opposite way. Will fire a laser, incomplete. Trying to find Freddie Swain. TJ Carter lost his hat. 3rd and 15.
That's a tough throw there, moving Felipe Franks to the left as a right-handed quarterback. It's always difficult to flip your hips quickly and drive a ball accurately 15, 20, 25 yards down the field, let alone great tight coverage by Kentucky.
Alabama hammered Arkansas State tonight. Georgia knocked off South Carolina in convincing fashion. 41-17. 3rd and long for Franks. They cross it up front again. Franks on the run, being chased, trying to direct traffic, and he's able to get it out of bounds, incomplete. And we got a flag on the play, multiple flags.
There were 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference on the offense, number 89. The penalty is declined. Ineligible receiver downfield, number 64 on the offense. That penalty is declined. Result of play, 4th down.
So Florida will punt it away. We've talked about the losing streak. It's been since 1986 that Kentucky has beaten Florida. It is since 1979 that Kentucky last won a game in this building. And there have been games where Florida has put up monster numbers offensively in this series here at the Swamp. Bouvier rushes up to take it at the 21-yard line. 36-yard punt. Cats will look to add to their lead, up 14-10 on Florida. Let's take you back November 15th, 1986. It was a cold afternoon in Lexington. Mark Higgs had 27 carries for 97 yards. The only touchdown. Carwell Gardner was able to sack Kerwin Bell. And with under a minute left, Ricky Nattil fumbled. Kentucky recovered to ice the game. And the Cats snapped a 5-game losing streak to Kentucky to win 10-3. They haven't won since. But since that win, there's been a lot of Kentucky success. All-Americans, draft picks, SEC Player of the Year in Tim Couch. Well, they've had plenty of talent, enough to win.
I'm talking, they've had good football teams. 2 eras come to mind. The Andre Woodson team, Randall Cobb, Jacob Tamming, Westwood Woodyard on defense. Really good ball club. And then obviously you got Tim Couch, #1 overall draft pick, throwing the football to Craig East. You think about those 2 teams not being able to get a win against Florida, just mind-boggling.
David Bouvier with a 14-yard reception. Kentucky's going to go tempo here. They'll replace Bouvier with C.J. Conrad, who has a couple of catches.
I love the tempo here. Keep momentum going, keep positive plays, moving in the right direction. Florida might bring some pressure up top here.
There's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Swing pass to Bowden. Stiff arm. Room on the sideline. And finally, popped by Donovan Steiner.
That's just a great job right there by Terry Wilson. That's not an RPO. That was a pre-snap decision. They roll a defender up to the right. That means there's not enough numbers to block, and you leave one on the outside. Flip it out to your playmaker. Go one-on-one. Great pre-snap decision there by Terry Wilson.
And they find Benny Snell. 1 yard. James Houston, who just entered the game for Rayshad Jackson, had the stop. And they got to shove Voshon Joseph away from the pile.
Voshon Joseph is an athletic linebacker for Florida, and a guy that when he was asked about Benny Snell this week, he said, he's all right. Benny Snell's more than all right. But listen to this crowd on a 3rd and long.
Play action. Wilson lets it go. Bowden gets deep. Got it! Touchdown, Kentucky! 54 yards to silence a crowd at the Swamp.
You might never hear a stadium get that loud and that quiet that quickly. Terry Wilson has done everything tonight with his legs. This time, an absolute rocket, and so good being patient. The first window's not there. Waits to the second window on the other side of Jawan Taylor, the safety, to the field. There's not many guys that have the arm strength to wait for a second window on a post route.
That drive started at Kentucky's own 17-yard line. 5 plays, it covers 78 yards. They convert another 3rd down. They are 8 of 9 on 3rd down tonight. Averaging 9.5 yards a play after that strike to Bowden. Can they do it? All right, Dari, thanks. Perhaps an upset brewing here at the Swamp if we didn't get one at Williams-Brice Stadium today, 21-10. Meanwhile, A&M trying to come back on Clemson. It's 28-10 Clemson. Kyle Field losing its mind in the 4th quarter. Pardon me, 28-20. 5 minutes into the 4th quarter in Aggie Lane. Franks again wants to go deep. That one was out of bounds. Kentucky trying to go back in time. They've only lost twice when leading after 3 quarters under Stoops. One of those a heartbreaker last year against Florida. Can they reverse the trend? Last year's heartbreaker was a 24-14 lead for Kentucky going into the 4th quarter. Especially second half, they came out looking deep early in the series. Franks intercepted! It's Darius West, and Kentucky has the takeaway here in the 4th quarter with an 11-point lead.
That is a monumental mistake by Felipe Franks there. This is a nice, easy concept on the left side here. It's going to be smashed. You're going to have a corner route and a hitch on the outside. You're really just high-low read on the corner, but this ball has to be out. To the field, you have a little bit more time. To the boundary, it's got to be out, and it's got to be outside. You cannot miss that ball inside. You see Felipe falling off that throw a little bit. When you're off balance as a quarterback, you're going to be inaccurate, and you can't leave that inside.
Kentucky is 11 minutes and 39 seconds away from ending the longest continuous losing streak in major conference football. They've lost 31 in a row to Florida. Wilson swings it to the outside, Lynn Bowden. And Bowden gets gang tackled for no gain. Remember last year in the 4th quarter, it was a 27-14 lead for Kentucky. Before Florida, under second-string quarterback Jack Del Rio, came storming back in the game.
Got to protect the ball. If you're Terry Wilson here, I imagine we're going to get a handoff, but secure everything from the snap to the handoff. Can't afford to let that ball hit the ground now.
Snell through the pile. 8 yards. The last year's SEC leading rusher.
How patient is Benny Snell?
I mean,
presses the line of scrimmage, Jordan, and he never finishes a run with his shoulder pads facing towards the sideline. Not one time. They're always facing towards the end zone, every single play.
And sometimes when he hits that hole, Cole, it's almost like he's going slow motion, but it's that patience, right? He's waiting for blocks to get set up. That's a true sign of a veteran running back that knows how to read and set things up.
And Snell bottled up behind the line. Ja'Kai Polite, the first man there. It's a loss of 2.
And that is a heck of a play there by Ja'Kai Polite, coming off the complete end to get all the way down to the opposite A-gap and make that play. The 6'5", 260-pound defensive end is a freak.
They're going to go for it. 4th and 3. They've got a good kicker, but they lost their all-time leading scorer at that position. Florida showing pressure. Trying to get him to jump, I suppose. It'd be a 52-yard field goal from here if they wanted to try it. Play clock will run out.
Delay of game on the offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Kentucky will punt it away. A&M made a go of it. They just scored a touchdown to pull within 2 of Clemson, but with 46 seconds left, they could not convert the 2-point conversion. It's 28-26 with under a minute to go at Kyle Field. Clemson in front.
What an effort by that Texas A&M team and a young Kellen Mond.
Max Duffy will try to pin the Gators back. Florida might be offside near side. Duffy hangs it up. It'll come down inside the 5. And they get it at the 1. Fantastic job by Zach Johnson to come out of the end zone and down a 37-yard punt. From the end zone, comes to check over the middle. That's good for a Florida first down and Freddie Swain.
That's just a great job by Felipe Franks. I asked him about what his favorite route to throw was. He said a deep ball. I said, okay, what's your least favorite? What do you need to work on? He says that route right there, the dagger route, the deep dig. Patient job looking front side, coming back to your 3rd read there for a wide open game.
Steps up, fires again, and this one incomplete. It was wide of LaMichael Pirine.
Middle pressure from Adrian Middleton there, coming over right guard Fred Johnson. Nice inside move, able to force Felipe Franks to just step to his left a touch, thus an errant pass.
Yeah, and Middleton's playing a big role, as you said, with Bohanna out. Middleton's down about 25, actually up about 25 pounds from last year. He was heavy, then last year slimmed some weight. Now he's got good weight on, and he's using it well in the middle of that offensive line.
3rd year as a starter. Here's Pirine. He's got room. 13-yard run around the edge for LaMichael Pirine.
See Florida starting to push with a little sense of urgency. You don't need to panic. You don't need to go full speed right now. Just under 8 minutes. You have both your timeouts. You're down 2 scores. You need to push some urgency, but don't panic. And still run. Still take what the defense gives you.
Franks fires a bullet, nearly picked up and through the hands of Mike Edwards. Missed opportunity for Kentucky. When they have directed Felipe Franks to get the ball to Kadarius Toney, he is zeroed in on.
Yeah, this is great. I said take what the defense gives you. He wants to throw this deep comeback. He puts this on a line. This ball really needs to be over the top of that linebacker. He throws it with too flat of an arc and almost throws an interception. Ball's got to have a little more air. Level 2 ball. About 10 to 15 yards of air there. That's a completion.
1 touchdown and 1 pick for Franks. Big hole. And Pirine has another first down. This is a drive that started on Florida's 1-yard line.
It's the run game that's really getting things going here. Haven't seen much of it all night. But Pirine in there, the changeup back.
Play action, lost the football. Franks just didn't take it with him, and they'll end up losing a yard.
Boy, can't have that. Got to be really firm. Yeah, you see that? Franks is trying to flip for the laces as he's doing a play action. So as he's sticking the ball in the running back's gut, he's trying to flip for the laces. You got to secure the fake, and then you can find the laces afterwards.
Three-man rush. Franks over the middle. Incomplete, too high for Freddie Swain.
See, an incompletion there really hurts you. I mean, it's 4-down territory, so you're thinking you still have 2 downs, but they got almost 30 yards here. Really needed some positive yards on that play. I would like to see a quick pass play, get the ball out of Felipe's hands into a guy like Kadarius Toney or Van Jefferson and let them try to pick up 10. I'd still say you do the same thing here because you know you're going to go for it on 4th. And/or get yourself in a manageable field goal range. You need about 15 yards here.
They're going to run it on the quarterback draw. Franks gets a couple of big blocks, stays on his feet inside the 40. 19-yard run by Franks. How about that play call?
That's great. I was looking at the 35-yard line thinking you got to get inside that if you're going to even think about kicking a field goal. As a quarterback right here, you're taught hash number sidelines. All right, get upfield, get vertical, keep working towards the sideline. It's a great job by Felipe Franks to get his team. Josh Allen on Martez Ivy here. Keep an eye on that. They're going to throw it. They might not have a lot of time.
They dump it underneath. It's good for a first down. And LaMichael Pirine. And Pirine's got it inside the 15. Florida able to convert the 4th down. It's a pushing and shoving afterwards.
A great job. Josh Allen does bring a little pressure here. And instead of chipping on him, as you think that Pirine would be there for that reason, he slips out. Linebackers don't get there in time. It's a great design. Because if you're Kentucky, you're thinking that back's there to help on Josh Allen, and he just slips free.
Kentucky runs a man off late. Under 5 minutes to go. Franks wants to throw. End zone shot. Incomplete. Almost intercepted. Once again, he found the wrong jersey.
Yeah, they love this one-on-one matchup in the red zone with Van Jefferson. But Felipe's just been off. That's not a good ball. Your only shot here is back shoulder. You want it up on the ear hole towards the sideline. He's been a little off on every throw these past few drives.
13th play of the drive that started all the way back at the 1-yard line.
Tell you what, QB draw here. Just 4 guys in the box for Kentucky right now and 5 offensive linemen. They're going to look to the sideline, and Dan Mullen's going to give them a play.
They did it on a key 3rd down earlier. Play clock is at 1. Franks on the draw through traffic, gets cut down and is able to find 3, but that's it. TJ Carter there for the stop for Kentucky.
And still, if you're Felipe Franks, it's 3rd and 7, but don't think 7. Think 4 or 5 at worst, right? You know you're going in 2-down range here, and unless you're going to do a chip shot here. But Dan Mullen looks like he's pushing his chips onto the table, and he wants 7 here.
Swain, the man in motion. They load up the right side. Franks looking that way, steps up and fires. It is caught, and that is right at the marker. It's Swain, and we'll see if they give him the spot. They do. 1st and goal, Florida. 3:58 and counting.
Florida's going quick now. Kentucky's subbing.
This is what got him in trouble last year at Commonwealth. To the end zone. Touchdown, Freddie Swain. Florida marches 99 yards on 15 plays in a 4-yard scoring strike from Franks. It is a 1-score game.
And I absolutely love the play call from Dan Mullen. You get a first down, you hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Kentucky's subbing guys. They're disheveled on the defensive side, and you slip Freddie Swain into the flats for a nice easy throw for Felipe Franks, which he almost missed. But now you got to get the 2-point conversion.
They'll put the ball on the left hash. Florida 0 for 1 on 2-point plays. Franks looks back over the middle, lobs it, end zone, tipped, caught out of the back of the end zone. Malik Davis was the one who had it. He was wide open.
And Tom, what'd you say earlier? You can't go broke taking a profit. Nearly an identical play. It's the same concept. Going to take a look at this catch or no catch first. Clearly out of the back of the end zone there. But Tom, you sprint right. Your first option as a quarterback on this play is throwing to Malik Davis in the flat. Right there, give it to him, give it to him. Wide open, that should be your throw. The outlet is the cornerback side if everything goes wrong. But that is 2 points there, as easy as it comes.
Fellas, how good has Josh Allen been in pass coverage tonight? We don't talk about him doing that very much. We've seen him drop back multiple times. He's been body on body with tight ends and receivers. Nice recovery to get back to the corner of the end zone there and deflect that pass.
And Cole, he's 6'5", 260.
He's a tight end. He's a tight end. He came and sit down in my radio show at SEC Media Days, and I'm thinking it's like, he looked like Gronk sitting down at my table. I'm like, there's no way this dude's a linebacker runs the way that he does.
Florida kicks it away. Nobody back to receive it. Kentucky wants to run the clock. They'll do it with Benny Snell. And Snell gets taken down by Rashad Jackson after a gain of 2.
Love the formation. 2 tight ends with an H-back. Big bodies. Some bonus bigs in the lineup for the Wildcats.
Here's Snell. He fights for one. Rashad Jackson, playing for the injured David Reese, is in on another stop for Florida.
And a great tackle. And that's one thing, when you're a backup playing behind David Reese, you don't get a ton of time to get comfortable with what you're seeing. Made a quick decision, great tackle to save that and force a 3rd down.
This place is rocking on a 3rd and 1.
Kentucky's going heavy. Tight end fullback in the game.
Benny Snell to the outside. Big block on the edge. And Snell takes it for a Kentucky 1st down. Bunchy Stallings was a road grader, Cole Kublik.
Wonderful block, wonderful hook, pulling around. But Tom, I tell you this, as an offensive lineman, you have to love a running back who presses the line of scrimmage. Benny Snell presses the line of scrimmage on every play, makes such a late cut and a beautiful cut, and then gets north and south near the sideline. Excellent job by the Kentucky O-line and obviously Benny Snell.
And a full slab from Bunchy Stallings with a flat back to lead the way for Benny Snell.
Give me that slab, Jordan Rogers.
Oh, it was given.
Benny Snell will take the direct snap. Kentucky trying to end the longest consecutive losing streak in major college football. They haven't beaten Florida since 1986. Cole Kublik had hair.
Timeout, Florida. Their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
The streak is 31
This will
consecutive
be a 30-second
games.
timeout. Please reset the game clock to 2 minutes, 4 seconds. 2-0-4.
Kentucky hasn't won here in Gainesville since 1979.
Thank you.
Not completely over yet. Kentucky still needs a 1st down. If Florida stops them here twice, could still have around 30 seconds or so. But you would probably need to go the length of the field in that case. But you got to get stops here first.
Snell Brought down by Jackson again. He picks up 1. Florida's out of timeouts. The clock will tick down.
And for an inexperienced quarterback here with Terry Wilson, got to let all the seconds come off the clock. So walk to the line of scrimmage, get your eyes on that play clock, and do not snap the ball. Mind you, Benny Snell, the veteran, is going to be back there. Milk that clock as long as possible.
On 3rd and 7. Maybe a yard that time. So Florida will get another crack at it with about 40 seconds left, maybe less.
Yeah, and I bet Kentucky takes a delay of game here. Back yourself up 5 yards. Get a little more cushion to try to pin Florida back inside the 10 or inside the 5.
It was a fantastic punt from Max Duffy last time. He's from Perth, Australia. When he showed up in Lexington this summer, he had never before put on football pads or a helmet. They had to walk him through that. They had to teach him how to wear the equipment. And now he's trying to pin Florida deep. The Aussie will send a bouncer inside the 20. It's lost and then recovered. Freddie Swain had to go right through the wickets. It'll be a long field for Florida. 29 seconds left, 95 yards to go.
Trying to make a play, can't blame him, but got to get the ball first. Really lucky to be able to fall on it before Kentucky gets there. All right, if you're Florida and Felipe Franks now, you got to use the sidelines. Only 29 seconds left, 0 timeouts. The clock will pause on a 1st down, so you can use the middle of the field, but you better make sure everybody is rushing to the ball. You need chunk plays, and a few of them really quick.
Jefferson to the left side. He's been Frank's favorite tonight. They'll dump it off. 1st down for Davis. Taken down at the 25.
It's a great first play. Got to get positive yards, get things going in the right direction. And you better hurry to get this snap off. Clock is running.
It's at 16. Kadarius Toney outside on the right for Franks. Pressure. Flicks it. It'll go incomplete with 9 seconds left. You have time for 2 or just 1?
Boy, I mean, you only got time for 2 if it's about 15 yards, 20 yards maybe on the sideline. And then hopefully get yourself in a situation where Felipe can reach the end zone with about a 65, 70-yard throw.
Kentucky fans have chewed their nails to the quick. They've suffered heartbreak time and again in this series. They're 9 seconds away from flushing all those bad thoughts. Trips to the right, Toney on the outside. Play clock is at 3.
Try to work the sideline here.
Frank steps up. Hit as he throws. It falls incomplete, and they catch a break. 4 seconds left. Mark Stoops is saying it was a fumble. They have not whistled it dead, and they will get it down to the goal line. And now the line judge says touchdown, Kentucky. Unbelievable. Mark Stoops was yelling, go, go, go. And they're going to take a long look at this one.
One of those plays, the refs are going to let that play out. Call it a fumble. It's a safe thing to do, and review it to see if it was a forward pass or not. But you got to play to the whistle. And they'll have a good view on this to see if that ball was moving at all. What you're looking for is to see if the ball was moving before the arm starts to come forward. You can see Felipe stepping up in the pockets here. It was Josh Allen that hit it. We need a closer look than that.
Devontae Robinson ended up with it. He almost gave up on the play, but
almost tossed it to the ref.
And he had a chance to be taken down by Tyler Jordan or have the ball stolen, and then his extra effort got him over the plane.
I think that's a fumble, fellas.
Here's a better look. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
the ball was out. And what a way for Kentucky if the call stands to end this streak with perhaps the most unbelievable play in this series.
And look who it was. From breaking up the two-point conversion play in coverage to beating the left tackle to force a fumble and close it out after a 31-year drought for Kentucky. Josh
Allen
Allen.
on the field of a fumble is confirmed. A touchdown was scored by Kentucky at the end of the play. Game is over.
Kentucky fans can excel. Finally, the streak is dead. (27-16) is the final. 5 tackles tonight for Josh Allen, including a sack. What a finish. Cole Kublik standing by with Mark Stoops.
Coach Stoops, 31 years. How does it feel?
It's hard to describe. You know, it's been a long time coming. We played them very well since I've been here, different games, and it's been very, very frustrating. Could not be more happy for our players. They just showed unbelievable character. They've been a joy to work with, and for our fan base that's waited a long, long time for this one. And, you know, sometimes it's a little undue to our players inheriting the 31 games. It puts a little bit extra stress on you, but they handled it super well.
You told me at halftime you were the more physical football team. What did this team prove to you tonight?
Well, we went out in the second half, and I think we ran it every snap and went down and scored, and that showed the character and the toughness of this team.
What does this win mean for your program?
It's another step. It's a long season, and we got to keep everything in perspective. You can't ever get too high or too low. It's a big win. I'm very, very proud of them, and it's another step.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
That is a very humble answer, because this is a monster win for this Kentucky program, which under Mark Stoops has gotten better each and every year from a win total perspective, and now an opportunity to snap what was the longest active losing streak against an opponent in major conference football. Mark Stoops finally gets the monkey off his back. It's replaced by Gatorade. Let's get you to the studio. Kentucky knocks off Florida 27-16. Dari, Chiz, and Doring, it's all yours.